Welcome, everybody. My name is Mr. Reality from At Reality Forecast on YouTube. And Liz, it's been a long time since we got to chat. How you doing?
I am feeling much better now. Thank you. How are you?
I am great. Some of your Patreon members submitted a probe to you, and you sent them to me. So I thought we could run through a couple of those today and see if you could answer some questions from the great beyond, not necessarily about people, but about the Solfeggio frequencies is a pretty big too.
Okay. I don't even know what this is.
You know, like the hemisync, they're an external sound frequency based on a few different hertz cycles that are designed to influence the mental and emotional state and often give therapeutic and meditative and healing to people. Now, I want to caution you that Liz and I are not medical experts. We aren't recommending you go to this. We're just going to see if that actually is real and what it can do.
Okay. All right. So what should I probe here?
I don't know. What do you want to probe? Or do you think we have the answers?
The frequencies themselves?
Do you need a bell for that?
And a little wooden stick that I ding.
Yeah.
I love those, by the way, those little Buddhist, whatever they are. My hairdresser has one. Every time he finishes a client, he rings his little bell or he rings his bowl. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's probe them. What are we asking?
Well, they were rediscovered by Joseph Puleo in the 1970s. He claimed that they had powerful healing properties. So I guess we can bring in the energy of Dr. Joseph Puleo if he's still with us or not with us. You can. Well, let's talk about the Solfeggio frequencies and what's their history. Where do they come from? How did he find them?
Where do they come from? These are like ancient practices out of Africa. I feel this is very, very old, almost like Middle East, Africa, northern Africa area.
So say they're part of the Gregorian chants and a deep part of healing and vibration. So people rediscovered them. And does he feel now that they do have a healing benefit and therapeutic quality?
Do I have a feeling? I don't think we should ask him. I think that
it seems like you might be biased.
Right. I think that we should ask the frequencies themselves.
Okay. We can pool all these frequencies together and add them up and get the top frequency or the gong of all of them.
Let's see. I'm going to pull them together. Do you have healing properties? Yes, they do. Yes, they do have healing properties.
Can the frequencies be used to offset and benefit negative emotions?
I don't feel like they can offset negative emotions. No, they can raise your vibrational power and your frequencies that you are emitting, but I'm getting a no on offsetting the negative emotions.
How do they raise your vibration?
So let me just put in a clarifier there. That when I say when they offset negative emotions, right? I think that the question they're asking is whether it can overcompensate for the negative emotions that you have in and therefore instill a permanent change. Okay, I'm getting a no on that. I'm sorry, what was the next question?
I guess the next one is, can they effectively reset or refresh our DNA?
No, that's past life trauma. No, it doesn't go that deep.
Are
This
these the
is,
same? Go ahead.
sorry, this is very much like surface level healing. It's not going in that deep.
Are these the same frequencies used in like a Tibetan bowl meditation or any bowl meditation?
The principle, yes. It's supposed to align with that sort of principle.
Have there been any studies done that can provide answers to the solfeggio frequencies have a therapeutic effect?
There have been studies done, but I don't feel that was there a placebo? There was a placebo group, okay. So there was an active group, yes, and there was a placebo group, yes. And what were the findings of the study? The placebo group actually God, so what I'm getting is the placebo group actually fared better.
That's not great. Did these tones come from an extraterrestrial species originally?
Species originally. No, I believe they are a gift from source.
Okay. Do they have a certain, well, I guess I wanted to ask this. Do they feel that current music has a tonal bias? And by that, I mean, it seems like the frequencies don't move you as much as they used to, older music, like a vibration bias.
Yes, that's correct.
And what did the frequencies feel is behind that?
Um, it hasn't really caught up with the evolution of consciousness.
Is there an attempt to hobble current music and make it less, I don't know, move people away from it?
Um, yes and no on that one. I'm getting yes and no. I mean, really, we've gone too far away from, so music, okay, let me give this to you. So music originally was spiritual. Now we're going back thousands and thousands of years, okay? Music was like a gift from the divine, is what I'm getting, for us to have that connection to source. It raised the frequency of the group or the person. Most of the time it was in a group setting. You know, you have things like drumming circles, you have a collective, and they're trying to um, create a certain state of consciousness, particularly for the mediums in that collective to download that information from source. Okay. Now, that's providing that those channels are not infiltrated. So let me ask this question. Was this used as a protective mechanism to safeguard the channel between the medium and source? And they had hoped that it did, but it didn't always. Okay. It wasn't always protected. Back then, you know, they didn't have all of this information that we have today. Certainly, it's all come a long way since then. So, music was used as a tool to connect. Now, as we have evolved um, in today's, you know, especially with the British invasion and everything, and then moving forward, music has gone from having a real religious based or spiritual connection to, you know, what makes us feel good or what makes us feel bad. You know, sometimes we can connect with music and the music evokes very powerful, deep rooted emotions. So with all of that, it feels like this frequency, this old practice really has not evolved with the evolution of consciousness. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess it does. Can you benefit or get a greater benefit with the solfeggio frequencies if you use them in combination with light and LEDs?
Ooh, can you use them in combination? Is the benefit greater with light and LEDs? Yes, it is.
Okay. And do these frequencies penetrate into the DNA?
Do these frequencies penetrate in the DNA? If you do it long enough. So most of us don't have that kind of time. It would take several hours to penetrate into the DNA. And don't forget, once you pull the plug on the music, right, your natural defenses kick back in and things just automatically revert back to the way they were. So this is not instilling a permanent change. Again, that's similar to what we got before. It doesn't instill a permanent change. You would have to listen to this thousands of times, several hours per day, in order to the body to adapt to this new way. In fact, the fastest way to adapt is that from the second you wake up, you have this on until the second you go to bed. So the body doesn't have time to revert back to the way it was. It would still take thousands of sessions.
I had one last question, I guess, for the frequencies. A lot of people put things in their ears to listen to music now, and they don't feel it in their body. And I wondered if the frequencies can let us know if it foresees any harmful effects of those Bluetooth frequency things that people stick in their ears to listen.
The Bluetooth frequencies or their harmful effects. Very harmful. Okay. First of all, damages the ear and hearing overall. Second of all, it starts altering the electricity moving around in the brain. So the frequency is, trying to penetrate the electricity in the brain. You definitely don't want to rewire your brain in that way.
Drop your
But a lot
B12
of
ready for
times,
Christmas, kids.
yeah, really. A lot of times what happens is what I'm picking up on is the fact that the frequencies, if you start interfering with the productivity of the brain, it could then recreate damaged or diseased cells because it's knocking everything out of whack. So you definitely don't want to create a brain disease by having that frequency so close to the head. Actually, I when I talk on the phone, I always use speaker mode on my cell phone or my mobile phone. For those of you outside the USA,
A flip
I always use
phone. Is
speaker
it a
mode.
if you have a pocket phone at home, yeah, use the speaker on it, not your Bluetooth or you're sticking it up to your head. Why do you feel that do the frequencies believe that having it up to your head is has negative consequences?
To having the phone up to the head is negative. Absolutely. Over time, yes. But it would have to be with either very vulnerable fields of energy in the brain, or it's to do with like overusage. You know what? I don't know why I instinctively, when cell phones came out, I instinctively knew to move it away from my head and put it on speaker. And I'll tell you why. Because I could taste like metal or like burned, like the burned electric smell, when
Right.
electrics burn. I could taste that in my mouth. So I actually, since then, and I'm grateful that I had that experience, I was like, whoa, I can't have this taste in my mouth. So that's why I always use my cell phone on speaker mode, always.
All right. Thank you so much, Liz. Thank you, Frequencies, for joining us. And we appreciate each and every one of you. If you're not supporting Liz on Patreon, please go to patreon.com/remote viewing and beyond. And feel free to book a reading with Liz to ask your more personal, individualized question. Hey, thanks, Liz.
Yeah, thank you. Wow, that was cool.